welcome, Julian. Your microphone. I mean, there you go. Hey, do you have your screen unlocked? Check your screen. It might be locked. And you're on mute. There you go. Oh, there you go. Welcome to Off the Ropes, everybody. There's my name, George. Julian, you're on mute. You're on mute. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Can't hear you. Uh-oh. Can't hear you. No. Log back in and log back out. Hey, sorry guys. Well, welcome to Off the Ropes. While Julian is figuring out his technical difficulties. Good morning. Welcome. It's Saturday. We got a fun show for you guys. We got recaps of last weekend's fights, plus our fight breakdown.
Yo.
Let's see. There you are. Yeah.
Hey, my bad.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
What the hell happened there?
No, just welcoming everybody to the Off the Ropes. This is George.
This is Julian, man. Hey, man. Good morning to everybody. Like a little technical difficulty this morning.
Yeah.
But hey, we got to figure it out.
Yeah, it took us a few minutes to get it going. It's all right. Oh, got the little
special guest. Special guest. Say hi, baby.
There you go.
Hi. Yeah, crazy hair day today for her.
Man, crazy hair day. Crazy hair day for me is every day. That's why I got my hat on. But like I was saying, man, we got you guys a good show today. We're going to be doing some fight breakdown, some recapping of last weekend's fights, get into the prediction, and then a little special treat. We're going to do what we remember of this class of Hall of Fame class that just happened.
Pretty stacked class.
Very stacked. I wish I would have done a little more research as far as like the last couple years. And the only reason why I feel like this one is probably like the one that is like the best or is the one that sticks out is because this is like around the time that I was really invested in the boxing, so good stuff, man.
This is true. This is correct.
Yeah, so let's no further ado. Let's get into the show. Everybody welcome. Again, Off the Ropes. First.
Combat for Hope as well. Remember that.
So. Yes, it is. First thing that our topic here is the Berlanga and Angulo. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what there is to say or what can I really say. Everybody's been seeing it on YouTube, seen it on Instagram, you name it, all this other platforms. Not a very good showing of what Berlanga did. Not a good performance. He got suspended 10,000. I think like he got suspended 6 months. I don't know what it is. Yeah, 6 months from the New York Boxing Commission.
He tried to Tyson boy.
Yeah, for sure. But before we actually get into what we think the future for Berlanga is, Julian, tell me what you thought about this fight, man.
Boring. About a 50% sparring match. Angulo did win this fight. I think he outlanded Berlanga. Berlanga, man, just the hype isn't real. That's all I'm gonna say right now. The hype isn't real at all. He's supposed to be the next big thing, I mean, he called out Canelo last year. It's like, dude, you're not even close to even being ready or invested in even fighting a person of the caliber. I mean, you have Angulo here, a veteran fighter who's been in there, Beterbiev, and face a higher opposition, I guess you could say. This is supposed to be the time where Berlanga was supposed to show us, if is he ready to take that step? Is he ready to go up against these bigger dudes? But in a sense, it's to me, it's he's not ready. He's just not ready. Now going to the bite thing, embarrassing. Embarrassing. You saw when Tyson did it. Tyson automatically got the disqualification. Same thing probably should have happened here. I mean, he tried to bite him on 3 occasions. We saw tried to bite him on the shoulder, neck, and the ear. So it's like, I mean, yes, the commission got it right in suspending him. They probably should have fined him a little bit more money. But if I were top-ranking Bob Arum right now, I'd be thinking, is this really what you want? For And as a star boxer, because I don't see it. Just because he's a Puerto Rican boxer, because he has a name, he gets out these seats. He's not good. He's not good. He's not main event caliber at the moment. And that's just my point of view, on this fight.
Yeah, it was definitely a very disappointing. Actually, before I get into it, welcome Chicano, always first on the show. Good morning, my bro.
Again, my brother, appreciate you.
But yeah, before I guess, well, like I say, man, as far as him showing out, not a great performance. Yes, it was boring. I don't know what the game plan was. I know every time a guy that doesn't have a good performance, the first thing they say is, "Oh, I was getting the rounds in, going through the motions." That was not going through the motions. That was not getting the rounds in. I always said when people
And he
get the
switched
rounds in,
trainers, by the way. Switched trainers.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
sorry
We
about
said
that.
that. No,
Yeah.
we said that on the last show. He switched trainers. Um, he, it was. I wouldn't say that he was getting the rounds in because getting the rounds is actually working on stuff. I didn't see anything that he was working on. It looked like he was afraid to get
All
hit. He
right.
looked like he wasn't. He just didn't want to engage. There was no jab. I mean, if you're working on stuff, you work on the very basics, right? You're going to work on your jab, your distance. He was going back pretty much this whole fight, and I said it before, and I'm sure many people say, and I'm sure Julian will agree with this. I think since the knockdown, he's been gun shy. He's not been confident. He's just been afraid to get hit, and that's just what it is, man. He's just afraid to get hit. Um, Hype, yes, I'm gonna say hype, and I'm usually not one to go ahead and disrespect fighters or call someone a hype job or someone a bum or overrated, but it's obvious. This is 3 fights since the time that he got knocked down, or his third fight, including the knockdown fight, and there's nothing there that I see that stands out that shows me that he's ready for the upper tier, or even to name a Canelo. I know he knows he's not ready. I just feel like he's putting his name out there, social media, clout chasing, whatever you call it.
Yep.
He's just not ready for those guys. He couldn't even do anything to Angulo. Angulo didn't even look like he was in a fight at the end of
Yes.
it. He wasn't
Angulo,
even
he could go
yeah,
another. He could have win another 10, man.
yeah,
If
he
he
wasn't
wanted
even
to.
breathing hard. If you're gonna be a main event, right? You're gonna throw him in those 12-round fights.
And Berlanga looked more damaged than he did.
Exactly. He looked like he went through the fucking grinder.
And I really
Um,
do think Berlanga broke his, like he broke something. There's no something happened. 'Cause
oh yeah, absolutely. And he's lucky Angulo isn't. Usually Angulo is one of those pressure fighters that tries to go and tries to knock you out. But well, I don't know what it was. Maybe there was a silent agreement. Hey, you know what? Let's just get me my rounds. I'm gonna win. Here's an extra 10 grand, whatever. I'm just throwing that shit out there. But it just was a very bad performance. I was not happy. I'm not looking forward to his next fight because
I'm
we
not.
obviously know what's gonna happen next. Is they're gonna put him in there with somebody
Yeah, he
that he's
can't
gonna
knock out.
knock out. That he's gonna knock out. They're gonna probably give him the guy that knocked out uh Jesse Vargas or Jose Vargas. I wouldn't be surprised they throw that guy in there, blow him up to come to 168 or whatever. Um, there's nobody I see in the top 10 that he can beat. I would even say that you throw a name out there like a Yildirim, and Yildirim will possibly
I think Yildirim even knocked that dude out, bro.
no, I'm saying Yildirim would actually probably beat Berlanga.
Yeah, he'll knock that dude out. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. And we obviously know, I know there, Top Rank has always been known with the Puerto Rican fighters, throwing those guys out there. And Miguel Cotto was the last of the bunch of Puerto Ricans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just like with just like Golden Boy, Virgil Ortiz, Ryan Garcia, we obviously know there's a guy in both of those promotions, like Golden Boy, there's Virgil Ortiz that Oscar should be investing his time and pushing the same way he pushes Ryan Garcia. Same thing here with Top Rank. They have Xander Zayas, like a legit skilled. I mean, he excites everybody. He puts on great performances. He's a great talent.
He was
That's what I
supposed to
think.
fight. He was supposed to fight too, but he got sick.
Yeah,
Something
he was
happened.
supposed to be on the co-main event, got sick. I think this is the guy they should be really investing their pay-per-view. I mean, not their pay-per-view, but their main event on the main card time on is Xander Zayas. Now, second question is Julian. I know we kind of answered this a little bit in our breakdown. Like, where does Berlanga go from here? I mean, obviously he's suspended for the next 6 months. He got fined 50 grand. Like, what is the next steps?
I mean, honestly, man, it's just back to the drawing board. He did not look well as the new trainer. Did not at all. I just feel that he's not ready, man. Like, like you said too, he will be set up to get a fight. You know, he's gonna knock somebody out for sure. His next fight, you know, that way everybody can kind of wing off of this, wing off of
Yeah.
this one, you know. But you know, it's just, you know, like yeah, like I said, but I just don't see no improvement from him, not at all.
Mm.
Like not, in the last three fights, it's just been the same thing, the same thing, the
Yeah,
same dang thing.
and the thing is, like, there's no doubt in my mind that he's a draw, right? He had the celebrities coming out, and that's probably about the only thing that he's got going for him. Is he's got, the people of New York that are behind him. But after this fight, you didn't see too many of them, congratulating him or getting behind him. They went silent, and that's usually what happens, right? Your people, your yes men, or your people, your fans stick with you when you're winning and when you're impressing. He just wasn't impressing for me, and I'm sure for everybody as well. So, um, I don't know what the next move is. I feel like we said it. They're gonna set him up to knock somebody out in his next fight. I'm sure we'll see him next year, but I think it's time to move him away from the main event off the main card, man. So,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know,
I mean, he's not that caliber.
yeah, he's the draw for sure, but just not the fighter, the first 16 round knockout guy that we thought he would be. And I knew this was going to happen. I just knew it. I just wasn't really totally all the way involved in it or saying, you know what, this is the next guy, because he's knocking out guys. He's not showing any kind of skill. But hey, on to the next, man. Also Saturday, we also had Munguia and Jim Kelly. Julian, what did you see?
Jim Kelly was winning this fight. You
Yeah,
know,
give me a breakdown.
he was he was utilizing his jab, man. He actually has a damn good jab that kept Munguia in check. You know, and I was pretty surprised too. He was countering Munguia. You know, like when he would engage. Uh, Munguia just looked a little gun shy this fight. You know, I mean, I understand he just got back from the injury or sickness, should I say?
Mm-hmm.
You know, sickness. He, like I said, it just he didn't look really comfortable at the beginning, you know, but you know he was hurting Cali, you know, with his jab too, you know, with his hooks, you know, stuff like that. I was very surprised Cali was utilizing body shots too, you know, in this fight, you know, which I thought Munguia would do a whole lot more of, which he didn't. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, shit happens. Munguia came out with the victory, KO, with TKO, you know, and Cali just didn't know what hit him, man. Once that power hits you, I mean, I'm pretty sure it just took him a while, you know, just to get back to where he needed to get. And you know, just I look forward to his next fight. You know, which should be a good one.
Yeah. I see obviously the comments, the breakdowns on this. People aren't really too excited or too happy with obviously his performance. But for me, watching this fight, yes, he was losing. Kelly did some great stuff in there. He jabbed, he circled well, he countered really well. He had Munguia thinking, which in a way, our essence you could say is Munguia was getting the work in, right? Like he's seen a
Different style.
a different style in there with somebody like a Cali that can move, that can make you miss, that can make you pay. But Cali just didn't have the power to obviously make pay. And I think Munguia is a pretty solid dude. I feel like he has a pretty good chin on him, that he takes a good shot. But he was getting countered. As far as what Munguia did, I think for me it was just a matter of time that was going to happen, because he was getting close. He was landing some shots on Cali. Cali was tough. He toughed it out for as long as he could. I think it was like 5 or 6 rounds, right? Maybe 7 rounds.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's 6 rounds. I mean,
Yeah.
I had him. I mean, up to that point, I had him up by like it was like 4-2.
Yeah,
You
same, man.
know?
I had him obviously winning more of the rounds, not all of them, but it was just a matter of time for me that Munguia was going to do what he does, get in there, get him out of the way, put a KO under his belt. Um, but I guess from these two fights, the Berlanga, the Munguia, who do you think had the better performance?
Well, neither.
You got to pick
know?
one. You got to pick one.
You really can't, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
they both had kind of shitty performances, you know. But I would just say Munguia. I would say just because I mean he did come out the victory. You know, he did come out the victory. He did what he had to do to win this fight. Got his record back up. You know, and I think it's just gave him a little bit more confidence for his next fight. And I think his next fight he does outperform the next person that he does fight.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of us are going to agree that, yeah, that Munguia's performance of the two was better, but still was a little lacking as far as make as far as what you want to see in a young guy. You know, winning every round, doing what he's got to do. But again, this is him getting the work in. This is him, going through the motions, seeing different styles, learning on the job, and that's exactly what he did. It felt like he was learning on the job, losing the rounds, but it's okay. Like you just knew at the end of the moment, and there was no urgency. It didn't look like he was in a hurry or like he was desperate to try to get him out of there. He just did what he does. He just
And
bulldogs him.
and the thing is too, Jim Kelly's a seasoned veteran. Like he's been in the ring, with some great talent, So I mean, it was good to see Munguia, kind of get this kind of a challenge because now he knows the style. He kind of knows this. He's going to learn this style now. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to take this to the books, and put that into his training too, in case the next guy, may be faster. The may be the same. Who knows? But like I said, I mean, just off to the drawing board too. I mean, for Munguia too. I mean, this is just another learning experience for him. He's still young. I mean, we gotta look at it that way too. This kid's still young, but his record don't show it. But freaking, he's still young, man. His record's ridiculous. But I mean, he had a great performance, man. Like I said, I mean, it was just he was just gun shy, just coming back from that, just getting the feel. I would say just back for the ring. And like I said, he'll do well his next fight, man. Just not worried. But that's for Berlanga, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. Just like I think you just should stay with Rozier. That's right. That was his trainer, correct?
No, that's who he left from.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's who he left, correct?
Yeah.
I really think he should have stayed there. He looked a whole lot better than he did with his new trainer now.
It's true. And a lot of people were saying it looked like he was. And I think maybe they were just being sarcastic. They're just saying, "Oh, well, he didn't look good, but he looked like he was working on stuff." Again, it did not look like he was working on anything whatsoever.
When you're at this point in your career right now, and the last 3 fights have ended either in bullshit decisions or you've even gotten knocked down by an opponent that you're supposed to knock out.
That's very true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like it just, to me, man, like you haven't made no improvements in 3 fights. You've been doing the same thing. Your head stays in that straight line always.
That's very true. Last 3 controversial fights, not a good look.
Yeah,
not a good look.
Like and it's true though. I mean, he hasn't won nothing. I mean, the beginning rounds in those first 2 fights were nice until the knockdown happened. I think after that knockdown happened too, his confidence level went down.
Mm-hmm.
Because now he figured, damn, I got knocked down by a fighter who's not known for his really KO, talent, or anything like that. But this dude just knocked me down with a check hook.
And you think about it too. That guy he got knocked down to, that was supposed to be that vet. That was kind of to see where you're at, right? You want to see where you are as far as your skill, and that's what they did. They moved him along. Yeah, they moved him along the way, thinking, you know what, he's been knocking these guys out. Let's see what he does with a veteran. And you saw what he did against a veteran. Scored. Didn't. I mean, it maybe would have been a draw at most, but I feel like most people thought he lost that fight. But again, last 3 fights, not good. Controversial. People think he lost, either a draw. I don't see a majority saying that they thought Berlanga won.
Yeah, but I don't see no improvement. I mean, I don't even think the next one. I'll be surprised if he don't get knocked out within the next fight or 2. If he doesn't make no adjustments, and depending on his opponent.
His opponent. Yeah. So, those were our fights last weekend. Hey, boxing kept us busy. We were looking forward to those fights. Maybe they didn't do as well, but that's what happens, man. And then onto today, man. Great. I'm excited about this. I know you're excited about this. Everybody all over Twitter, Instagram, everybody's excited because 3 bouts are on the line. Not an undisputed. 3 bouts are on the line. But
you have another American fighter going for it.
Yes, that's true. You have another American fighter going for it. The blue collar Joe Smith Jr. himself. He resonates with your typical average American blue collar dude because that's what he was, the blue collar guy. Yeah, exactly. Wears his hard hat, wears his vest, puts his boots on, goes to work, wakes up early in the morning. I mean, look at the career he's got for himself. Great resume.
And just look at this, though. The guy he lost to is the current champion that just beat Canelo.
Hey, and you know what?
What does that tell you? What does that tell you right now?
Exactly. You know what? And here's the thing: the triangle effect. So it may not even matter, even though he lost to Beterbiev, doesn't mean that if Canelo was to fight Smith, that Smith would beat Canelo. So there's that triangle effect, and that could be out of the way because I don't feel like that happens. But that was his last. That was one of his last losses when he went up in competition, went for a bout, fought for a bout. He lost to Bivol. But tonight he's got his hands full. He's got a Archer Bitterbeef. Beterbiev's a beast. Yeah, he's a beast. He's
if you
either
guys don't
number
know this
one.
guy,
Yeah,
if you guys don't know who
I'm
this
sure
dude is,
most people do. Yeah,
you'll know who this guy is today. Um, you know, Beterbiev, of course, he was in my top 10 at the beginning. Like I said, if we
yeah,
go back to that list we are talking about last time, he was in my top 10. But there's just been so much movement right now. But I just feel after this fight, he's gonna be back in there, of course. That we're really gonna have to shift a lot of people over. You know, this is gonna be a messed up weekend, I guess you could say, for rankings, because now if Beterbiev does win, because he was already a top 10 before all these damn fights started happening. And he just won his last fight after getting freaking headbutted intentionally with a big old gash in the middle of his head, and still fought and still knocked dude out. You know, I mean, you can't take it away from this dude. This dude's a freaking bear, bro. This dude's a monster. Uh, Somebody will be asleep tonight. I'll tell you that right now, and I really don't think it's gonna be Beterbiev. Joe Smith, like I said, you just can't take nothing from him because he has been in there with Bivol. But like I said, Bivol did beat him. And he did beat him. And I feel Beterbiev has that same attribute, where he can do the same thing to him that Bivol did. And but the power effect too. I mean, I think Beterbiev has a freaking hammers for freaking fists. So, like I said, I have him winning tonight. I have Beterbiev winning tonight, by the way, via KO. I'd say between 8 and 10. Between 8 and 10. Just think Joe Smith gets caught with one, and he's gonna have to beat the boxer puncher.
Yeah, you're right, man. He's gonna have to. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a good fight, man. I think Beterbiev is a bit of a slow starter.
Yeah, he is.
I think if Joe Smith Jr. is gonna do anything or try to get Beterbiev's respects and make Beterbiev feel his power, it's got to be early. So maybe these early exchanges for Joe Smith, him coming out firing, could be a game plan where he gets Beterbiev off his game plan, to make him exchange,
which he
exert
needs
some
to.
energy, which he's going to probably exert some energy, trying to exchange with Smith because when you're a fighter, you get hit, you want to answer back, and you're going to hit back. But that's my thing. I think Joe Smith, if Joe Smith gets a chance and he's going to win this fight, if he's going to win this fight, and if he has a chance to win it, he's got to do something early, get Beterbiev respects. Yes, Beterbiev is a little bit older. But I just feel like he really hasn't gone through any kind of wars. Yeah, he got a big ass gash on his forehead his last fight, but there was really nothing to me that indicates that age is going to be a factor. I know some channels breakdowns.
He's 33, right?
No, he's 37.
37. Ah, damn.
Yeah, so and I know a lot of people's a good majority of breakdowns they think that if Smith is going to win. And you see, a lot of people are picking Smith because it is that close of a fight. Smith does have a chance. But for me, I just feel that Beterbiev is the better polished boxer. He boxes, like you said, he's a boxer puncher. He boxes a lot better. He boxes great behind the jab.
He has power behind that jab.
He's got power in both hands. He has a power jab. But I just feel that Beterbiev, his power, his boxing will make the difference. I'm saying late knockout as well. I say about 10. But with that being said, into that 10th round is definitely going to be a war. I'm definitely going to say you will see both guys at least bloody.
There's going to be blood everywhere. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, and this is on the radar early too for possibly fight of the year. But if you think about all this year, there's been candidates on paper that should be fight of the year, and some of them just didn't pan out. There's some that have, but I feel like I'm not going to go in. I'm going to jump on this and say that it's going to be fight of the year. because if we do that, our expectations is high and it doesn't pan out. But I
Yep.
will say this: it will be a good fight. You will see Joe Smith have some success, but I just feel like Beterbiev's power, his boxing, will make the difference. Because Smith, again, he likes to come out. He likes to set a tone. He likes to come out aggressive, and that might be a bit of a downfall. He might get caught on the inside of those white shots. But
That's why.
Smith is tough.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I just think he's very caught. He's always wide. That's his problem too. When he
Yeah,
starts exchanging, he always leaves himself open, and we all know the kind of hook and body pressure that Beterbiev could put on fighters. So,
exactly.
he is a body puncher too. I mean, that's the crazy thing about Beterbiev. He's a body puncher, bro, and he punches with freaking power. And like we said, I mean, talk about boxer puncher. I mean, there's plenty of these guys, in this whole league, I guess you could say, in boxing. There's plenty of them, but I mean, as you said, more polished fighter. I mean, Beterbiev, he's this dude's just well rounded, man. He's smart. He has a great ring IQ. I mean, it seems like all these dudes from back there, like the Middle East area, like freaking just have that ring IQ, man. They know what the hell they're doing. Usyk, Beterbiev,
Bivol.
Loma. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bivol. I mean, look at these damn dudes. I mean, their ring IQ is ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
Janabek.
yeah, Janabek. I mean, you can't take away from these damn dudes, man. They're just smart in the ring. They're very disciplined fighters.
Yeah, that's the difference I feel from, and not to take away from American fighters, because you're starting to see now the tide is starting to change where American fighters are starting to take over. I think
They're starting to come out.
someone put out, I think, of the division, I think most from the small weights to the heavies, that there's most American guys that are holding belts. You do have some international and Europeans, but you see Americans starting to take this back, and it's good to see. It's beautiful to see us Americans, and and even though we're picking Beterbiev, like I would love nothing more than for Joe Smith Jr. to bring these belts back. I mean, let's just see what happens, man. Again, I'm excited about this fight. I'm behind Joe Smith Jr. I'd love to see him win. Beterbiev, he does everything good. His shots are shorter. There's no loop. Everything is on a straight line. But all in all, man, it's gonna be a good fight. And then, real quick too, shout out to the undercards, man. Our boy Jai Tucker's gonna be on there as well.
Yeah.
You got Choo Choo, and then the
Hey.
co-main event, Abraham Nova
Abraham
versus
Nova.
Robeisy. Crazy.
Ooh.
And this is to show ESPN again shows that they're in the top when it comes to these undercards.
Yeah, if
Take
you guys don't know
notes.
who
Take notes,
If
promoters.
you guys don't know who Shushu is, you guys don't know who Jai is, man. Like I said, go back to a couple of our episodes, man. He's a cool cat, man. Cool kid. All these kids are coming up. Like I said, Top Rank is a big stable right now. It's for all this young talent from everywhere: Puerto Ricans, Americans, Mexicans, you name it. They're everywhere right now.
Yes.
Top Rank's getting it done for a lot of these kids, man. Like I said, man, big shout out to Jai though, man. Freaking, we'll get you on here, brother. Freaking, and freaking.
Yeah, he said it too.
Good luck
He
tonight.
said-
Yeah.
he
Good luck.
said it. He wants to come on. I wish we would have gotten him on when we finally got our YouTube channel going on. Because, dude, it was a great interview. If you guys have Spotify, you can find us on Spotify. If you guys want to go check out some of our older episodes and interviews, we've interviewed Carlos Jackson. Another shout out to the homie.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight last weekend, but dude, Caballero decided he thought he was gonna go for an easier fight. Got knocked out.
Got destroyed.
Yes, we have Carlos Jackson, Jai Tucker. We have Coach Cam out of Cali. She's a female trainer.
Yeah,
We have Adelaide
Ruiz.
Ruiz. Yeah, La Cobra. Man, you guys go back and go check out our episodes.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to figure out how I could try to post these on YouTube, but there's no video. It's all audio.
Yeah, but like I said, a lot of these people, just some of the people that we talk to, some of the young talent that we talk to. The people, it's just been a blessing too, getting to know some of these people, and like I said, shout out to Coach Cam too. I saw that you actually were in a professional corner the other day, and I know that was pretty big for you.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty big to see a girl in the corner, of a professional boxer, because like I said, you want to make that change.
Yeah.
To see more women. I can see more women do this thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But like I said, back to Jai and all that, man. Like I said, good luck tonight. Shoo, Bruce Carrington. No, just
and even Troy Isley too.
Troy Isley too is fighting tonight too. Yeah, Troy Isley. I mean, all these dudes are Robes Ramirez. All these dudes are freaking.
Yeah, he's the co-main event.
Yeah, this is big talent, man. Keep your eyes open tonight, because like I said, I mean, these dudes will bring the heat. They'll bring those gloves too. So be prepared for a showdown.
Yeah. Top Rank putting his cards out, man. Thankfully for that. So next subject, we usually, while we have been doing these current news and boxing, because some news has been pretty sweet, but I feel like this week has been a little bit bland, other than the usual. What is TC gonna do? What is Spence gonna do? So we're gonna steer away from this a little bit and give you guys kind of a little bit of a treat. We actually did this yesterday on El Chile, where we shouted out the Hall of Fame class. So first on the list, man, great names on this. So as we go along, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down what we remember these guys in their careers, because at this time when these guys fought, I was really aware of what was going on in boxing. First guy on the list, man, none other than Sugar Shane Mosley.
My
Julian, tell me what you remember. What stood out to you about Sugar Shane Mosley?
Sugar Shane Mosley, man, I used to call him Mickey Mouse, bro, when I was growing up, because that's what he reminded me of a mouse, blue eyes, But Sugar Shane, man, one of the best, man, to lace up these gloves, bro. He's fought some freaking guys, like Ricardo Mayorga, he fought Mayweather, he was a little older when that happened. He fought Canelo. He's fought the likes of another Hall of Famer that's on this list, Miguel Cotto. Who she lost to. He actually he beat Fernando Vargas. There's some names on here, that he's had. Winky. Ronald Wright, yeah. There's a lot of people on here. He fought De La Hoya, which he won as well too. Another Hall of Famer. But you can't say enough about Shane, man. He's done so much for the sport. He's been in there, like I say, with the best. He's just all out. He's one of my favorites, man. Definitely a top 10 for me. Just because of, he was in my era. I got to see him pretty much fight a lot of his career. Fight a lot of the talents. Like I said, and just naming some of those names I just right now. Even like some Antonio Margarito too, just Mexican warriors that he's beaten. But he was a bad boy, man. He was a bad boy.
Yeah, for sure. For me, great memories of Sugar Shane Mosley. The De La Hoya fight, number one, that I think was awesome to see, because I was going for Mosley, and I'm not saying that I was an Oscar De La Hoya hater, but for some reason with a lot of dudes, De La Hoya just didn't really sit well. I don't know what it was, but De La Hoya also had a great career, did some great things. He fought everybody, didn't avoid anybody. Just like, again, here, Shane Mosley did not avoid Shane Mosley. He didn't avoid Trinidad. Shane Mosley, great career, man. I think he's had several defining wins, and the two that stuck out to me the most is the De La Hoya and the Margarito, especially because Margarito at the time was a crazy beast. Nobody wanted to fight him,
and that's when he had destroyed Cotto already.
Yeah, he even had Mayweather stuttering on video saying, "Hey, can we fight next?" Mayweather promised him a fight, didn't get the fight. He just was running through people at the time, Margarito. And yes, I will say the effects of him being caught made a difference, made him not go in there with 100% focus. But other than that, when you're fighting, again, you fight with injuries, you fight, divorce, you fight with a flu, you fight when you just came out of jail. Nobody ever fights when they're 100% or when they don't got shit at all not going on in their life, because they're regular people just like us. So I don't like to say these things are excuses, but all in all, he came out, he fought Mosley, he fought Margarito, he beat Margarito, he fought De La Hoya, he beat De La Hoya the first time. De La Hoya at the time considered probably one of the best fighters
at 147.
At 147, crazy career. Like you said, he's fought in the likes of Winky Wright, he fought Mayorga, he fought Fernando Vargas, he fought Cotto,
he fought Luis Collazo too. When Luis Collazo was coming
Cotto, up, bro, he fought Canelo, and yeah, these fights were a lot later on in his career. But he fought Mayweather. He almost had Mayweather the fuck out of there.
Bro,
I
I
lost
think
my
that was
fucking bet.
I think that was the biggest setup fight in the world, bro. Because like Mayweather was done after that shot, he backed off, and that's when I knew right there that Vegas paid that one down, bro.
Vegas
That was Vegas right there. Vegas saying, no,
Vegas made their
no,
call.
this can't happen. Don't
This is
do it.
this is Vegas. Hey, you know
Tell him
what
to
you got to
back
do.
off. Tell him to back off. We just almost lost billions of dollars here.
Yeah, and you know at the time too, Mayweather was the fucking he was money
Bro,
way he
bro,
was
that
money
was a
Mayweather
shot, bro. Like that was one of the biggest shots I
twice.
think I've seen Mayweather hit. And actually, that was the biggest shot. Yeah, exactly. That was the biggest shot I think I've ever seen Mayweather ever get hit by. Like
Yeah,
that was ugly, bro. Like I really thought he was going down. I was even like, whoa.
yeah.
But,
So great career for Mosley, man. There's so many memories, like we both said. You know, this
oh
is we
yeah.
remember a lot of his fights. He fought a good majority of pretty much everybody. Won some, lost some, but all in all, great career from lightweight all the way to junior middleweight.
Junior middleweight.
Yeah. Next on the list, the on Manuel Marquez.
Oh
Julian,
my goodness
talk to
gracious.
me.
Juan Manuel Marquez, man. What can you say? I'd say probably I put him over Canelo as one of the best. I'd say Chavez, Marquez, Canelo. You know, why do I say that? You know, Marcus has been in probably the best wars you've ever seen in boxing. You know, like I'm telling you, we've seen this dude in there with Pacquiao 4 times, knocking out Pacquiao, one of the biggest highlight knockouts in boxing history. You know, he's been in there with freaking Mayweather. You know, he's freaking Jesus Christ. He fought Joaquin Juarez. He fought Marco Antonio Barrera not once, twice, 3 times. You know, and I mean, he has a lot of people, man, that we could even like. Man, he's just dominant, man. Like even though like he has like certain amount of losses, this dude gave us wars. I mean, with what's his name? He fought Casamayor too. I mean, that was a big win because I mean he TKO'd him. I mean but to me, I mean, just his best fights, of course, were with Manny Pacquiao, you know, and Barrera. Those are the two best like wars I think in boxing history. You know, when it comes to quadrilogies, I guess you could say.
Is that even a word?
Yeah, I don't even know. I made it up, but it's there now. Take notes. I'm messing with y'all. Nah, but I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, he even fought like Tim Bradley, you know, Tim Bradley, and you know, I love this dude, man. Manuel Marquez, true warrior, true champion, and like I said, I was always looking forward to his fights, you know, always looking forward to him. That's the definition of a Mexican warrior, right here.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, I remember so much of his fights too, as well. You know, you pretty much named most of the fights that I remember. I remember him even fighting Katsitas, fighting
Yeah, I was gonna say
Rios from Colorado. Of course the 4 fights with Pacquiao. And yes, I mean when we think of like Mexican great fighters, this is one of the guys you put on that list. You have to put Manuel Marquez on there, and he was a guy that didn't shy away. Though he didn't get his fight with El Terrible,
Nope.
you know, he still fought the next Mexican best guy which was Barrera. Great career, dude.
Imagine that war. Son of a bitch. That would have been Morales and him, bro. That would have been Jesus Christ.
There must have been a reason why, man. Like I think one of these guys would have died in that ring, knowing that, what kind of fight these guys put on, man.
That's probably the main reason they didn't make it happen, because one of those dudes would have probably literally, yeah, you're right. Probably one of them would have died in the ring. You know,
so many great memories, and you know, I'm gonna say this. If you guys are, I mean, I hope you guys are familiar, because I feel like most of the guys that we listen to on our channel are pretty much boxing enthusiasts or boxing heads like us, like ourselves, and which isn't a bad thing to do. Like, go back and watch some of these fights, man. You won't be disappointed. I'll tell you that right now. You will not be disappointed if you go back and watch some of these fights that these guys put on, man. And this is one of the ones you will be very. This is eye porn.
Yeah, exactly.
Eye porn. Watching a
fans.
Marquez fight is some eye porn for you.
Yeah, that's the definition of boxing. I mean, I understand the whole narrative, you know, getting hit, not get hit, But hell no, man. This dude, he doesn't matter. He got knocked down. He got back up, and he went back after you. He didn't give no shits.
Yeah, he was like a damn zombie, bro.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
so
all hail Juan Manuel Marquez, man.
yeah,
One of my favorites.
Juan Manuel, yeah, definitely for sure. We're working on our merch line. That's definitely going to be a shirt I would be loving to make as a Marquez shirt.
I got a perfect picture for that. I got the perfect one.
Next,
oh my god, dude!
Bernard,
you gotta go with this boy, dude. This is my boy right
Bernard,
here.
Yeah, Bernard, the executioner, Hopkins. Julian, he's your boy. Let me hear it.
This is by far my favorite boxer of all time. B-Hop, man. B-Hop, man. He was a once in a generation guy, man. Like, to me, I mean, you talk about fighting the best. I mean, he did lose to Joe Smith Jr., who's fighting tonight. But of course, he was, 48 years old? 47?
That was like his last fight.
Yeah, his last fight. But, I mean, he beat another guy, who we're talk about here in a bit, Roy Jones Jr. Another one of my big-time favorite fighters right there as well. Top 5 for sure. But B-Hop by far was my favorite freaking fighter of all time, man. Like, I can't say nothing bad about him. He never got knocked down up until his last fight, I guess you can say. Never got knocked out. He's, like I said, he's been in there with Kelly Pavlik. He was in there with Joe Calzaghe. Who's Joe Calzaghe. She's still undefeated. Still has one of the best records in the game. He was in there with Antonio Tarver, Jermaine Taylor twice. Even though he lost those two. He was in there against Felix Trinidad. Another fight, that I think made him. And of course, he did destroy Oscar De La Hoya. He absolutely destroyed Oscar De La Hoya, who now works with. Like I said, I could just keep going on, man. To even like his like earlier wins, like James Stokes. I don't know, a lot of people know who he is. Just a fighter that was back in the day.
Antoine Eccles.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say right now. Exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But you can't say enough about B-Hop, man. I think what he did for the game of boxing, was just great, man. He's, like I said, he gave us the fights that we wanted. He was in the fights that we wanted, and he got it done.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, my all-time favorite fighter right here is Bernard Hopkins. Just like I said, just respect to him, man. Congratulations to him. And it's just what a career, man. What a freaking career.
Yeah, man. Hopkins, for me, he was one of those guys I loved watching, even though to a casual, it wasn't pleasing to watch because, me and Julian and the majority of us that love boxing, like we watch boxing not just for the knockouts or for them to throw the fist. Like we love watching skill, and Hopkins was one of those guys. He was a technician. He was a vet. He was cagey. He was clean. He fought dirty. He did everything in there that you expected from a fighter. And nothing you can't take anything away from his career. I think he had like something like almost 20 some defense in the middleweight. Like, he defended his belt like 20 some times. Like you said, he fought from guys to like William Joppy. He fought De La Hoya. He fought Jermaine Taylor twice. Antonio Tarver, Winky Wright. And then even after losing to Calzaghe, like for him to still go and get a fucking big win against Kelly Pavlik when Kelly Pavlik was the man.
Yep, at that division.
Kelly Pavlik was undefeated at the time, and he made it. I'm not saying he made it look easy, but people were like, "Whoa, everybody thought his end of his career was against Joe Calzaghe because it was he knocked him down in the first round, but from then on, Calzaghe pretty much won every single round, and he dominated Hopkins. And we thought, like for me, I thought Hopkins was done. He comes back, very next fight, gets the bouts, knocks out Kelly Pavlik. I'm sorry, he didn't knock him out. He beat him in a decision, completely dominated him. Then he fights John Pascal, and Pascal was a beast. He fought Chad Dawson. I mean, there's just so many names on that list that
Chad Dawson twice.
Yeah, that are crazy, man. And Hopkins deserves to be on that list. He did a lot of great things. I loved his career, man. nothing I can say bad about him. I loved watching him fight.
Just a huge fan, man. It was
Huge
just
fan, yeah. Big
dude,
shouts out to the executioner.
be hot, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Next on the Hall of Fame list. This that was your favorite fighter. This is my favorite fighter right here. Miguel
Ooh.
Miguel Angel Cotto.
I'll let you start this one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Miguel Cotto, man. Early 2000s, I would say about 2000 was my introduction to Miguel Cotto. I'm saying 2002. I take that back. I was in San Diego, living with my uncle and my aunt, playing semi-pro baseball, living under their roof. We love boxing. I see Miguel Cotto's first fight, and I'm like, who is this dude? Like, just body work, jab, head movement, like everything I love to see in a boxer. This was like, if their styles, this was the style that I love to watch. Jab, body shots, solid left hand, solid left hook. My big thing in boxing is the body work. And that was one of the things he had great was a left hook to the body, left hook to the top. And when he switched to the southpaw, you knew he had you in trouble. You knew he had you in trouble as soon as he switched to southpaw because that was his power shot, a natural southpaw or natural lefty. This guy fought from Shane Mosley, Zab Judah, Ricardo Torres, Chop Corley, Kendall Hole.
Mayorga.
He fought Mayorga later. He fought Margarito. We all know how that
Trout.
happened. He fought Pacquiao, Trout, Saddam Ali, Delvin Rodriguez, Sergio Martinez, Canelo.
Shane
but
Mosley,
later on,
Zab Judah.
Yeah, all those fights. Once he hit 54, I feel like for me that wasn't a division he should have been at. He was, it's one of those things where the guy is a little too heavy for 147, but not quite the ideal height for 154. And you saw he was a small 154. But man, great career. I had nothing bad to say. I was upset when I saw Bernie. Shout out to our boy Bernie taking pictures of Miguel Cotto. He sent that shit to me right away, knowing I'm a big Cotto fan. I sent him the middle finger. Yeah, I sent him the middle finger, and I'm sending it to him again. But man, Miguel Cotto, he fought everybody. I know, there was, there's some bad stuff that people like to say. They called him a diva. I don't get the point. I don't get the whole diva thing. He fought everybody in his division. Maybe 154. He did go after a bout that was, low hanging fruit. Sergio Martinez, 2 bad knees. But hey, all in all, it was a bout. He did what not everybody could do to Sergio Martinez.
Yep.
Julian, tell me what your thoughts, what you remember about Miguel Cotto.
Yeah, Miguel Cotto, I think you could say when he beat up Paulie Malignaggi, that was when I first started really, got really interested in Miguel Cotto. After that fight, man, it was just uphill for him right there, man. He's, like I said, he's been in there with pretty much about a list of Hall of Famers that we just listed right now. He's been in there. He's gave us wars, even though he's been knocked out in some of them, like Antonio Margarito, which is pretty ugly, which we later found out what happened, loaded gloves or loaded freaking hand wraps, but just after that fight, man, I mean, he just, man, my eye, like the eye test is, a big thing for us, like you're talking about, as boxing fans, boxing critics, this dude did everything. To me, he did everything correct. From the jab, like you said, to the body. He had power when he needed to do it. He would end fighters when he needed to. He had some close fights too. Which of course we saw. I mean, but the Joshua Clottey fight, another close fight that he was in.
Yeah,
but I really enjoyed. No, I mean, he fought through the decision. Why? Because the second half of the fight is what made the difference for him.
He was
getting absolutely destroyed freaking the first half of the fight. And after that one right there, though, I mean, that pretty much came out. And the next fight, of course, which he lost to Manny Pacquiao. But at the time, Manny Pacquiao, it's Manny Pacquiao. He's the man of the division. But like I said, I mean, Cotto, man, he's damn good. Damn great fighter too, man. Damn great fighter, top fighter. In my book too. Probably one of the best Puerto Rican fighters of all time.
Oh yeah, for me, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I'd say the same thing. Probably say the best Puerto Rican fighter of all time.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, due respects, man, he really well deserved day 2, man, for him.
Yeah. real quick, Chicano. I remember the low blows. You know what? There was the thing right there for him against Zab Judah. Claudia. Yeah, I mean, look at if you know boxing, my uncle was really big on this. He used to say, you know what, you get your first, you do your first low blow. What do they tell you? They give you a warning. Oh well, if you feel like you're getting your ass beat, you feel like you can't do nothing, hit the dude square in the middle of the cup. Sorry, it was an accident. You get a warning. He maybe have
My
done it a little
bad.
excessively. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, dude, that was one of those. That's one of those veteran moves that if you see a guy hitting somebody in the balls, he might be getting hit a little too much and it's trying to change the tone of the fight. But yeah, man, just real quick, one more thing with the Cotto. He did fight Mayweather. This was my thing, and I'm gonna continue to keep going with this. Hey, hold on real quick, just real fast. Uh Hey, up to you, man. I would definitely love to go back and rescore that because I did feel like Claudia won that fight. Julian
Yep.
remembers a little bit different, and
Yep.
we know how these when we rescore that, there's always two sides to this. Some people feel the other guy won, vice versa. Hey, let's do it. We can do it, man.
Shit, it's all good on that one. I'm down with that.
And then real quick, Julian, I want you to do this. Do yourself a favor. And I'm doing this myself because yesterday on the show on El Chile, we mentioned Mayweather versus Castillo, the first fight. Maybe we didn't discuss it on the show, but we discussed it after. And one thing they brought up to me was who I thought won. I said Castillo. They're like, please go back and watch the fight and tell me what you really thought. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I think me and you should do a little bit of homework. I think that would be like one of our assignments. We can come back on our next show.
I've actually seen it 3 times, 4 times already.
Okay.
That fight. I still rescore it the same way I had it.
All right, I'm gonna go back and rescore this. Maybe on our next show.
I still have it the same way. Sorry.
Okay, but we can go back and rescore this. I mean, I just say the way Chicano and Opal put it to me.
It was by a
pretty
round.
Crazy.
It was by a round, bro. Like Castillo won that by a round. I mean, I'm still gonna stand by it.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and rescore this, and even if I don't make a show out of it, I still would love to go back and rescore it because I'm stubborn in my ways. Maybe I watched it a few times, but I watched it with biased eyes because I felt like Castillo won. And
I've seen that fight. I've seen that fight too many times, bro. To freaking not give Castillo at least a round over him. I mean, but hey, shit happens. It is what it was. Like I said, he still lost. He still won.
Yeah.
So does that bring us to our next guy? Then we were talking about.
No, actually, which brings us to our next guy. Which I will say this real quick. Back to Cotto, but I'll go ahead and put this slide up. Back to Cotto. When he fought Mayweather, I felt like this was way too late. Cotto was supposed to get him right after Cotto beat Chop Corley. And this was supposed to happen, but did not happen. And I've always believed, and I still will say this, and I stand firm on it, that Cotto, in his prime before he fought Margarito, was going to be the guy that would have beat Mayweather because just the style to beat Mayweather is what Cotto had: jab, body work, and he was just nasty with the left hand. I feel like that's what he would have done.
Yeah. I believe that too. I do. I really do believe that. But what can we say about Money May, man? I mean, people like me were the people I wanted to see him lose. Only because of the shit he would talk. What you can't take away from this goddamn dude is what a fucking defensive fighter he was, bro. Like the best defensive fighter of all time. Like my sense, he can come at you. He could box you. He was freaking fast, bro. Like I said, as much as we wanted to see him lose, you couldn't like not want to watch the greatness of this dude. It was like I said, he was doing things that we couldn't really like. We had to watch his fights, once, twice, 3 times sometimes to even be like how did they even see this, or like what the hell are they talking about? What these commentators are talking about. You see these fights now and just like shit. Like this dude is unreal, man. Like how do you do it? How did you do it to the age you're at now?
Yeah.
I mean, to be 50-0, man. I mean, the Conor McGregor fight really shouldn't have been counted, technically. I mean, it's kind of bullshit to me. It was just to break a record. But to me, technically, he's still 49-0. You know, even though actually 49-1, or actually 2 or 3, a lot of people could say, you know, if they want to, you know, But like I said, 50-0, that's a big honor, man. And you're fighting people. Let's just start with the Castillo. I mean, he had to go through that dude twice. I mean, like I said, the fight that we had to rescore, most likely. He won the second fight for sure. The first fight definitely was, like I said, Castillo did win that fight, but Mayweather did enough to win. In the eyes of the judges. Um, I still what really caught me, man, was when he just absolutely destroyed Arturo Gatti, man. Like when he freaking took out Arturo Gatti, man, was just like, man, Arturo Gatti was one of my favorites too. And he absolutely complete domination of Arturo Gatti, man. And right after that fight, I mean, he fought Zab Judah, who people think too, while he won that fight, Zab Judah won that fight. No, I mean, Zab
No,
Judah
he
had
didn't.
his moments. Zab Judah had his moments where he could have ended this fight early.
He was winning that first half
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and he couldn't. It was just what Money May does. He has more. His conditioning in the tank is about 1,000 times better than half the fighters out here today, and then.
Yeah.
And like I said, it showed that against Mosley, Marcus, knocked out Hatton. Like I said, the De La Hoya fight, where he was behind too, but he did what he had to do to win that fight as well. He got the points earned. He did what he had to do to win it. We can't take that away from him. Uh, he did fight Miguel Cotto, yes, I think later, which I think the fight should have happened earlier, but like we said, we don't know what's going on there. A Marcos Maidana fight,
He
another question.
lost.
Yeah, another questionable fight. First fight. And but hey, like I said, judges don't see that. Vegas is the hometown of this boy. You know, um, Manny Pacquiao. I just think that was just a money setup for both of them. Like they robbed the people there. I think that's really turned a lot of people off of boxing.
Yep.
Honestly, just sad to say. Like I think that really shut a lot of people from buying pay-per-views now. But like I say, I mean, you just can't take away from the dude. He put asses in the seats. He put freaking numbers on TVs. He sold fights, man. And like I said, I really do think he's what made Canelo who Canelo is today.
That's a good point.
I really do think he did. I mean, I don't think Canelo should be thanking this man. I mean, people talk about credentials. Yeah, Canelo's gonna surpass this dude. As one of the biggest money makers, one of the biggest draws, in boxing. But from a standpoint of Floyd Mayweather, man, there's only one Floyd Money May. And that's like we said. I mean, his TBE is the best ever. They said,
No.
In his eyes, but like I said, he's always gonna be the best defensive fighter of all time.
Yeah.
And it's always gonna be that way. But like I said, he's well deserved too, man, for it. Like I said, he waited 40 years for this honor, and he finally got it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that yes. Two things I would say that he probably is the best at: business and defense.
Yeah, no shit.
Those are the two things that stand out to me in his career, that would stand out to his career, other than a couple maybe close fights that people thought he lost. But those are, to me, I feel like the biggest things. He did put asses in the seats, which I will say I feel like 70%. I was in that 70% with you, Julian, that wanted to see somebody beat him. And it wasn't because, like, I'm going to just say it. I'm not racist any kind of way. And it's not because he was black. Like, I never liked the guy that would run his mouth. Like, I didn't even like Mayorga. Like, Mayorga used to run his mouth. I used to want to see people shut him the hell up. I just didn't like that. So I wanted to see him lose. And I wanted to see him test himself with the best. And I feel like the last very best person that he did fight, and when he wasn't even at his best, was Castillo. I mean, Diego Corrales. And Corrales has so much shit. And then Corrales' wife actually was on the Boxing Voice and just pretty much said, yeah, he was going through so much shit, jail, he couldn't train, changing girlfriends. Like, she gave a good breakdown of why he lost that fight. And that's one of those fights. And I feel like boxers have those fights that they go back.
RIP to the man.
They go back and they wish they can get it back. And that was a very disappointing loss for him. But yeah, two things I said that stand out the most to me is he was a great businessman, one of the best defensive fighters right there with him and Pernell Whitaker. I feel like the two best defensive fighters of all time, whether if you
Sweet
have
pea.
Pernell 1 or Mayweather 2, whatever, vice versa. He's definitely one of the top best defensive fighters. He had good longevity. I say he's 50 and 0. Even though you go look at the boxing record, at Boxing Rec, they have McGregor on there as
His
debut.
50th win, yeah.
No, it's 51st. So they have Andre Berto was his 50th. I just looked it up right now.
I just saw it right here, right now. That was his 50th win.
Andre Berto was yeah, McGregor's his 51st.
This is McGregor was his 50th win. This is win number 50 right here.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, 50 bouts.
Yep.
My bad. For some reason I thought that was 51.
When the hell did he fight 51 fights?
Yeah. Either way, yeah.
No,
yeah,
but
yeah, either way. Man, hold on real quick.
What happened?
Shout out to my brother-in-law, my bro, Dre. What's up, Dre? Thanks for coming along. Yeah, he look out for Dre, man. He's looking. I'm gonna help him set up his YouTube channel go live. He's got the knowledge of basketball from college to pros. He gets all the all the information, all the nooks and crannies of basketball. So what's up? Shout out to Dre. I'll be seeing you guys. Happy Father's Day tomorrow too. Happy Father's Day to the fathers out there.
Everyone, man, all you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Back to Mayweather, man. Hey, can't take nothing away from him. I will say most people wanted to see him lose. He had his fans, and if you ever try to bet on Mayweather, you're guaranteed to lose. I lost the bet to Mayweather and Mosley. And my barber buddies out there will
what about 8? I lost about 8 bets to him already. So
I'm not gonna say how many bets I lost. I'm not gonna say how many bets I lost.
I lost about 8, bro.
But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you a significant bet I lost. I had to wear a flat top for a whole month. And that sucked. As a barber, imagine walking in, your favorite barber's got a flat top trying to cut your hair. It was all laughs and jokes. But
you felt like me, myself, and Irene, bro.
Bro, yeah, I felt like Hank.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you felt like Farva.
I felt like Hank. Yeah, man. But hey, Mayweather, great career. 50, I thought for some reason 51, but I take that 50th fight away. Like I said, you go back, you can see McGregor says debut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the books it was professional, but to the real boxing enthusiasts, it's 49. But great career, man. And speaking of another great career, here's another good career right here. We have Andre SOG Ward. Julian, what do you remember about Andre SOG?
You know what, man? Andre Ward was by far one of my favorite boxers, coming up. What really shied me away from him was the fact that he was only fighting so many times. We'd have to wait so long for a fight. It's like a TC type of thing going on right now. Like we'd wait for him to fight this guy or fight that guy. But you can't take nothing away from what Andre Ward did because, Andre Ward was a master at his craft too. Like, he had one of the best jabs in the game too for light heavyweight. He was just a different breed. He fought I really do think he fought in an era, that wasn't, like too big, in the light heavyweight era. But at the time, you can't take that away from what he did in the ring. He stayed undefeated and he had to beat some of these guys to get there. Sergey Kovalev, of course, the fight that we all questioned the first fight, which we thought Andre Ward did lose. In the second fight, he knocked out. He TKO'd him. He has people on there, like Carl Froch that he beat, Chad Dawson, he beat by TKO. Sakayo Bika, he beat as well, Sakayo Bika was undefeated at the time, too. It was just a lot like people like that, that are on the list that I've seen him. But he was, as for light heavyweight division, at his time, he did what he had to do to get the belts, to win the belts. And, just big ups to Andre Ward. We see him every day on ESPN. We see him on ESPN all the time. We see him, breaking down all the fights right now. Like I said, I really wish we would have saw more from him in his career. Seeing him fight more, but he was a part of the Super 6, correct? Freaking tournament, which was actually, I think what kind of turned the tide in boxing too, you know, because boxing was in a change, you know, at that time, you know, I believe, and I think that's what really turned people to Andre Ward more, you know, because he made a name for himself in that Super Six tournament.
Yeah, very true, man. And I will say this: looking back, yeah, when most of us, when we go back and do our research on these fighters, we go back and look at their boxing rec, and sometimes you forget some of the guys he fought. But when you look at the list, it's just like a memory, right? Like you don't remember everything growing up. You go back and see a picture 10 years ago at the San Diego Zoo, and all of a sudden all those memories come back. You're like, oh yeah, you know what? I remember we were there at the San Diego Zoo. We did this, this and that. So what I'm saying is, going back, hold on real quick. What's up, a Boxing 101 historian, BH?
Hey,
yo. Bro, let me just say something really quick. A BH, a boxing historian. Yeah. Look at this dude's resurgence of followers. Like, people love this dude. I absolutely love this dude. When I get on and I'm watching everybody else's channels, when BH speaks, you listen. Because dude, man, great information, great takes on fights. And he holds no punches. He'll tell you exactly the way it is. And
you bow this man.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, and I appreciate that, man, because some of us have it in us. You got that no give a fuck in you. And
he has that boxing swagger, bro. He knows his shit.
Yeah, he knows his shit. Yeah, real quick, back to Andre Ward. Like I said, we all, when we do our homework and we have our content, we go back, do a little bit of our homework. And when I go back and look at my homework, my box rec on Andre Ward, I mean, yeah, I think the Super Six is obviously what stands out to most boxing heads like us. Like, we think of Andre Ward, we're like, oh yeah, Super Six. He wasn't supposed to win that. He was not the favorite. I think for me, when that Super Six came out, I was invested hardcore in boxing again, or not again, but like I was aware, like I was a full grown adult watching boxing, watching all this. For me, in that Super Six, I thought it was going to be Arthur Abraham. That was my original pick, because the way this dude was just knocking people out, like he was scary. He was a scary dude. Arthur Abraham. I thought Arthur Abraham would be the one to win the tournament. Little did we know, Andre SOG Ward comes in and does the unthinkable. He beats Arthur Abraham. He beat Carl Froch. He beat Sakio Bika. He beat Mikkel Kessler. Kessler was another one of those killers that everybody was riding high on. But before in that Super Six, let me just give you like two names real quick. Edison Miranda, La Pantera.
Yeah, I don't remember him.
Dude was a freaking animal. He was from Colombia. Like, he was knocking dudes out, completely dominated him. Alan Green was another one of those fighters that was knocking dudes out. He had many knockout highlights, and so he became a highlight himself. After the Super Six, he beats Chad Dawson. I know one of the big things that was big on that, everybody was saying that Chad Dawson, was weight drained. He wasn't at his weight the way he was supposed to. Oh shit! Real quick, shout out to KO. What up, KO Kenny? Another one of those guys, Kenny? Man. That again, subscribe to the Boxing Historian. So subscribe to KO Kenny. He's got his music out there.
Yep.
When he throws that shit on Instagram, when he throws that shit on Instagram and Twitter,
great album.
I hear
great album.
Chicano Prophet. Subscribe to these guys, Maestro. Subscribe to these guys. I mean, great shit. Shout out to Kenny. Andre Ward again, man. He fought Chad Dawson. He beat Edwin Rodriguez, who was undefeated. Sullivan Barrera was undefeated when he beat him. The first Sergey Kovalev fight, was questionable, but he closed that fight out, which made it really, which in my eyes, if you were going to pick Andre Ward, you would have thought it was a split decision.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't have Andre Ward winning. I had Sergey Kovalev. I pushed the wrong button. But yeah, great career, man. Great career. He's had these fights. I think the big thing for me too is I think he just retired a little too early. But then again, boxers know their bodies. They know what they go through. They're the ones that put in the road work. They're the one that put in the minutes and the hours and the seconds in the gym. They know their bodies. And it's cool to see someone like that, retire undefeated with all his faculties. Good commentating as well on boxing on ESPN. Sometimes he could be biased. Hey, I respect it, and most of the time he does give some good shit. Yeah. KO Kenny, hey, I had Kovalev winning as myself.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah, man.
Not lying.
Yeah, he's not lying. Again, Andre Ward, good career. Again, man, this classes of Hall of Famers. I remember pretty much everybody in here, man. One guy I will say that is really well known out here, Roy Jones Jr.
Oh man,
Julian, what do you remember about Roy Jones?
Roy Jones Jr., man. There's not even enough you can even say about this dude, man. I mean, we talk about people he's actually fought in his career. We've talked about the wars he's been in. I mean, he was in there 3 times with Antonio Tarver, bro. I mean, that's when Antonio Tarver was the fucking beast at this division too. I mean, Roy Jones Jr., of course, too. He was the big gun. He fought people like Glenn Cali. Felix Trinidad, like I said, he won that one. He lost to Joe Calzaghe. But he did beat Jeff Lacey. Just another names, just to come up here. He lost to Bernard Hopkins. I mean, he's fought nothing but Hall of Famers, man. This dude just had a career. A lot of people slam him for the steroid use, but I mean, hey, whatever. I mean, everybody slams Canelo for the same bullshit, This dude did what he had to do, though. I mean, he gave us what we wanted to see in a boxer. Heart, love for this freaking sport. He's just, to me, man, he's definitely another top 5 for me. I'd say about 4. Roy Jones Jr. He really got me into boxing big time too. Even Fight Night. A lot of you guys remember he was on Fight Night cover. But Roy Jones Jr., man. Like, you can't say enough about him, bro. Like, career-wise, what he's done. And another dude we could say that's done a lot for the sport of boxing, in 3 different weight divisions, is it?
Yeah, dominating, man.
Yep. I mean, he's
very dominating.
But like I said, man, he's just definitely a top 5 boxer. I wouldn't doubt he's not a top 5 boxer in a lot of people's book. Just because, I mean, like I said, this Roy Jones Jr., man, boy was bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
that boy good.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, man, it's like the family just came to show up. My sister Rebecca. Love you, sis. Thank you for coming on, and then you don't have to stick around too long. Thanks for the support. That's Dre Smooth's wife, and my bro Dre too. So thank you guys for coming. Roy Jones, man, a couple things. Very dominating in his prime. I thought this guy would have retired undefeated, 150-0. But when you're young, you don't realize people age, and in boxing, like they say, you can't escape Father Time. I don't think Father Time caught up to him. I think it was the Ruiz going up, coming down.
Yeah.
Had a tough fight, his first fight against Tarver. Then
the dude has 75. He has 75 fights, bro. So I mean,
yeah.
What does that tell you?
At the end of his career, yeah.
Yeah, he won 66 of those out of 75. That's a damn career right there.
Yeah, man. And so first fight with Tarver after coming out of off the heavyweight didn't look good. He lost the next fight. We know the rest is history. The famous "You have any excuses today, Roy?" And the knockout came. And you know what? I watched it a little bit because I was watching some of Roy Jones's fights, and I saw the Trinidad fight. I'll get into that right now, but he wasn't doing too bad. He was setting up some good counters in that rematch against Tarver. Tarver just knew his cadence, and that's what it was. He knew what Roy Jones was going to bring. He knew Roy Jones was going to be open for a left hand. Mm-hmm. Tarver stepped further to his right, ducked his head, and knew where his head was going to duck. Tarver ducked his head out of the way, threw his left hand, and knew where Roy Jones was going to be. Got the knockout, and I think from there, it was just shocking because I remember me and my dad, we were like, Roy Jones, nobody's going to beat him.
And Tarver comes in and freaking does the number.
And and then he goes on, loses a couple more fights by losses, but let's not say that's what defines his career is these losses, because it wasn't what defined his career. It's what he did
him great.
early on. Yeah, he was great. The Trinidad fight, you want to go back and watch a good classic. Maybe Trinidad was a little bit old. Maybe he wasn't. To me, it felt like they were like neck and neck in their careers where they were at, and it was just flashback of old school Roy Jones, put on a clinic against Trinidad. And that, to me, when you think of wanting to see somebody on their last fight or your last memories of them, that was my one that I wish was my last memory, was against Roy Jones in Trinidad. I would have loved to seen him retire from there. But Roy Jones was he's a boxer, he loved boxing by heart, and you can't say nothing away from him. Great career, man, and it's good to see. Like I said, these guys, go back, watch these YouTube highlights of these guys fighting, from everybody that we've named on here. And Roy Jones is one of those careers where you're gonna be like, wow, what the hell?
Yeah, look at his highlight reel. If you look at Roy Jones Jr. highlight reel,
you'll be convinced.
There's about 5 minutes worth of highlights on that shit.
Many different shits.
Fights, man. Like you're gonna realize, like you don't realize the names, some of these names that we're talking about, but then when you put, for a boxing, head, you put these names and you finally see them in person. Oh, that guy. Oh, it's that dude. Freaking you'll remember who these dudes are.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, you don't remember every single fight. It's like a memory. You take a picture of it. So you go back to Boxing Rec. You look at the list of guys that they fought, and you're like, boom, that memory clicks in your head. You remember where you were at the time, what you were doing, maybe what you were eating, what the atmosphere of the room was. Just do that. Go back and look at some of the lists. And that's what it was for me for Andre Ward, like his career. The same thing with Roy Jones. You go back and look at the guys he fought. He beat James Toney. He beat Bernard Hopkins early on in their career, in their primes.
Yep.
That goes to tell you just how good Roy Jones was.
How bad he was, man.
Great career, man. Speaking of James Toney, another one of those guys on this list, James Toney, another one of those great careers.
Man, what do you say about James Lights Out Toney, bro? I mean, he's man. That guy just had freaking rocks, bro, in his hands. He had rocks. He was in there with some freaking dudes, bro, from talking like freaking like a Dominic Gwynn. He was in there with Evander Holyfield, which he knocked out. Another Hall of Famer. What's his name? I think his name Michael Rush. I remember him very well. I think Michael Rush was he was coming off like a three fight win streak after losing his first. And James Toney freaking destroyed that dude too. He knocked him out. But they called him James Lights Out Toney for a reason. He put you on your ass. He put you on your ass. He had power. He set you up well. With his jab, he had a hard jab. But man, just lights out, man. He's well deserved too. I think it's a little bit longer wait than he should have waited to be into the Hall of Fame. But he finally made it. So all hail to James Lights Out Toney, man. Freaking damn good career you had, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
One of Don King's freaking product right there.
3 people in there that I recognize, of course, Don King, James Toney, and then Smolder.
Yep.
Hey, that was if you saw Smolder in there refereeing, you knew that there was gonna be no break. There was gonna be clinching, punching in the clinch. He was gonna let these guys fight it out. And that's me and my cousin used to be like, man, this is gonna be a good ass fight because Smolder's gonna let them. He's gonna let them duke it out, let them clinch. Yeah. James Toney, great career. I will say though, out of the list of guys that we have on here, like I remember some of his fights later on when he was heavyweight, which he should have never been at heavyweight.
He should have stayed at cruiser or light heavy.
That's where he was the best.
The dominant.
And that was one of his things in his career. And sometimes I guess like in some of the list of guys that I'm giving, it might sound like I'm giving out some of the bad stuff and some of the good stuff, but just the things that I remember in his career. Same thing with James Toney. Like I wouldn't call it a negative, but something that stood out to me was he never really showed up 100% ready. And that's because I feel if he was 100% ready, like much more dominating he would have been. James Lights Out Toney, and me and Chicano agreed on this too. We said this at middleweight in their prime for prime. This would have been one of Canelo's. I mean, it would have been a very difficult fight if Toney was 100% coming in, focused. I mean, I'm just gonna say I
agree.
Fantasy fight, James Toney would probably beat Canelo.
No, I agree with you.
James
All right.
Toney, though, great career, man. I have nothing bad to say about him. Great wins. He fought, like we said, from middleweight all the way to heavyweight. He was quick. He was agile. Even as a heavyweight, he made people miss. You
You
know, beat, like
know.
you said, beat Holyfield. Great career.
Yeah, he fought what was his name? Tim Littles, dog. I remember he fought him too. Tim Littles is undefeated. I was a young kid, but if you go watch that fight with Tim Littles, bro, freaking he knocked out Tim Littles though, that fight, and freaking Tim Littles is like, I freaking forgot his record, bro, but he was undefeated though at the time, and at the time, bro, he freaking lit that dude. Bro, like, but yeah, I mean, just things like that too. James Toney was just a rare boxer too. There's a reason there's a reason he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah.
And like I said, people just watch just watch all these fighters that we mentioned, man. Like I said, if you don't know any of them or not even familiar with any of them, just to check them out, man. You'll see why they made it to this point in their career. Why they're inducted to the Hall of Fame. Why we've decided to talk about these guys too.
Mm-hmm. And then,
And there's plenty more. Way more. Plenty more fighters. Than that were inducted to the Hall of Fame. These are just really the big standouts. And in our book.
yeah, for sure, man. Good shit. Thank you, Julian. And then last on the list, Vladimir Klitschko.
Oh, baby. Yeah, I love this dude. Vladimir Klitschko, big ups to what he's doing in his country right now with his brother. But hey, man, the heavyweight king, man. He was in an era too where you could say that people would say that era of boxing heavyweights wasn't was why he reigned for so long. No, I don't see it that way. I mean, this dude fought everything and everyone. David Hay, a young David Hay. A freaking healthy David Hay. Tony Thompson, Hassan Rahman, just another name, just to come out there. Chris Bird, of course, his bigger fights, Tony Thompson, Kubrat Pulev, Brian Jennings. He lost to Tyson Fury. Yeah, he lost to Anthony Joshua by technical knockout, which was a fight of the year candidate, I would say, because they both freaking put each other on their asses that fight, which was his last fight too. He beat Alexander Povechkin, another big heavyweight. You can't take away from Klitschko's career, man, because he did it. He did what he had to do to be a champion, to stay a champion, and he's a people's champion too. He's really well liked. I would say. I remember. Is it Chisora that hit? No, Chisora hit his brother freaking across the face. I remember at a press conference.
Oh yeah, I don't
Yeah, when
remember.
he slapped him. But no, but anyway, man, you can't take away from what Klitschko did for the heavyweight game too, man. I think he paved the way for people like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Big heavyweights. I mean, we're talking these dudes are big heavyweights, and like talking 6'7", 6'6". Like these dudes are huge.
Yeah.
And just man, Vladimir Klitschko, man, just appreciate what you did for this game, man. I really do. Really appreciate what you did for the heavyweight division. I think you really opened up what we have going on now. Like people wanting to actually watch the fights we want to watch, and I think you set that up once you fought Tyson Fury and you fought Anthony Joshua, and even Brian Jennings.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, big career, huge career, and deserved career. And that's why he's at where he's at right now. Gets to retire. I understand he's fighting too for a country, but that makes him even more of a champion in my eyes too.
Absolutely, man. Good shit. Chicano put here. Yep, Joshua fight was fight of the year. So we'll be getting into that. Yeah. And on El Chile, we just introduced Chicano just introduced the segment fight of the year. So we'll be going on from like 1920 all the way to current fight of the year fights, man. So along with us rescoring, We'll be discussing fight of the year fights from the 20s to current. And yeah, I do remember those fights. Klitschko, I remember the era of Klitschko. Yeah, you know what? I feel like one of the criticisms I didn't give, but a lot of criticisms was he fought boring. That wasn't the best of the heavyweights, but just the names you just went off of, bro. Like, I mean, you can go back, Samuel Peters, Chris Bird, like all these guys. That's just how dominating Klitschko was, and he changed. I feel like he kind of changed the way of the heavyweight
He
style,
did.
right?
He did.
It was usually stand in the center of the ring, hooks. There was no jabs. There was no defense.
This
But
dude could
Klitschko
jab.
changed that. Klitschko changed that. Jabs, right hands. He fought on the outside. And I'm not gonna say he fought scary. He just was that dominating against a lot of these guys. And you look again. You go back to the boxing rec. Boxing rec.
Talk ring IQ.
That's your receipts.
We talk ring IQ. He had one of the best.
You go back to boxing rec. Boxing rec is your receipts. You go back and you look at all the guys he fought, and those are gonna click memories. Again, it's a memory thing. You don't remember every single fight, but you look at the names on there, and you remember, everybody that he fought, how dominating was. He even got his revenge against Corey Sanders. Corey Sanders, I think, was his first loss. And he was obviously something special because Emmanuel Stewart saw something special in him to stick around and perfect his style. What you see nowadays. Yeah. R.I.P. Emmanuel Stewart. You don't speak bad on the bidet, and there's nothing bad to say bad about Emmanuel Stewart. Great commentating, great coach, great philosophy, all around great man.
I always call him the Black Wayne Newton.
Might as well, that hair.
I always call him that, bro. But
that was some sexy hair.
I love Emmanuel Stewart, man. He's trained the best. He's trained the absolute best.
Yeah, he did, man.
But like I said, Klitschko is one of them. I mean, Klitschko is one of the products that he brought out. But hey, man, go ahead, George. I mean, like I said, Klitschko.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I just had to put that out.
I already tallied how many times you've done it on here, and we're in the double digits.
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just kidding, man. No, anyways, yeah, Klitschko, great career, man, and he kind of changed the way for the new wave for the heavyweights. Learn how to box from the outside and just show that big guys can move just as good as the small guys. Last fight, Anthony Joshua, fight of the year. Some people thought when he fought Fury, some people thought it was a very close fight, and it was a close fight.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it was. Yeah, he lost to Fury, but he came back, showed that he can do better things in the Joshua fight. He was close to getting Joshua the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was early rounds. Both guys had each other down. And then the good things that he's doing right now, he's fighting for his country. He's a great man. I used to love watching him box, like I said. And this class of fighters, like Julian just said it, I just said it. Go back, rewatch this, and you'll see the list of guys that are on here, man, and you'll see why these guys are on here. These were the times me and Julian and most of us in our age from mid 30s to mid 40s that were invested in the boxing and watched it, and even 40s and above. But this is a great class of boxing, a great class of Hall of Famers. I'm looking forward to see what next year is. I wanted to do was see last year's and the year before, then try to compare the two. But I might be biased on this, but I feel like this was one of the best boxing Hall of Fame classes that I've seen, just offhand.
No, it's up there for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
You can't, but big ass, great Hall of Fame class, man. Freaking great fights coming out tonight. Good undercard, like I said. Just keep ain't no Bob. He's on here.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning. Nah, but like I said, man, just catch all these fights, man. Like I said, watch the young talent. We're really, really pushing, to watch these young guys. Jay High, Shu, Troy Isley, Roberto Ramirez. People like this, man. We're just trying to.
Even Abraham Nova.
Yeah. I mean,
he's another one of those. He's in the co-main event against Ramirez, which, dude, I mean,
he's another Cuban fighter.
That's a great co-main and main event card. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just learn these names, man, because pretty soon we're going to be seeing bouts on most likely half of these dudes that we're talking about.
Most likely.
And we're looking forward to them. We're looking forward to seeing them grow. All the amateur local gyms here in town, in Tucson, Arizona areas, just keep doing what you're doing, keep instilling the minds of these kids, keep supporting us, keep supporting, Support Combat for Hope, man. We're actually got a next show. I'll actually have a link for you guys. You know, to where we're gonna actually start doing the donations now. And like I said, the raffle too will be announced next week too.
Yeah, for sure,
So,
man.
so let us know, man. Like I said, we always appreciate the love you guys give us. Appreciate you guys staying on with us, on this show, a little longer than we do, but had to go over all our boys.
Yeah, man. This was a little bit longer of a show, and yeah, like Julian said, watch the fights. Support Off the Ropes, support your local boxing gyms. Go visit some of these kids, get some interviews.
If you
You
guys
never
have
know.
any
You got
kids,
the
like I
future.
said,
You got
any
the
kid,
future there, man. In your local gyms, man. So
anybody in trouble, you feel like somebody's getting out of hand, man. You feel somebody that wants to get into a gym that can't get into a gym, we're here to help you guys out, man. We're here to help you guys get off your feet, get you guys into extracurricular activity. Some of our local gyms here will help us, fulfill that dream that we have
yeah,
moving forward. So like I said, don't be scared to get it off the ropes, get at George, get at myself, man. But for sure, man, it's Combat for Hope and Off the Ropes, boxing MMA.
yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and hey, again, watch these fights, and we'll be get with you guys probably this week on a recap, man. And next weekend, some more good boxing.
Yes,
Again,
it
guys, good
is.
morning. This is Off the Ropes. This is George, and we're
Catch
signing
y'all
off.
later.